Alright lads, so today we are over on BBS Simulator because in less than 12 hours time we are going to be getting the end of month banner announcement. It is getting announced a day earlier since we don't get news on the weekend. And in this case, the end of month banner announcement should be getting announced on the 27th, which happens to fall on a Saturday, so we are getting the announcement tomorrow. In this case, less than 12 hours as of me uploading this video. Now with that, we're here to discuss, theorize, and also speculate what character and also what type of banner we will receive. And you lads can join in the fun too. Let me know your prediction in the comments below. If you get any of the characters right, we'll give out a shout out in tomorrow's video when we do react to the new characters. Now with that said, jumping straight into it, I think it's quite self-explanatory that the banner itself is going to be 1000 Year Blood War. If you're expecting anything other than that, I generally don't know what to tell you. As we know, 1000 Year Blood War right now is the biggest banner they can actually do. And while I am holding out for a very exciting premium banner this year, I don't expect it for the end of month of April. Now, end of month of April is usually Golden Week, and that basically means that any gacha game, not even just Brave Souls, is going to be doing some pretty big and exciting banners. If we even use BBS as an example, last year we had the Power Soul Burn the Witch characters, which easily was one of the best banners of the entire year. And I think last year's banner was so good that this year, even if the character choice is better, it's going to pale in comparison, given that that was a free character banner with 3 characters with 2 killers. Like, last year's April end month was absolutely insane. This year, even if we get something exciting, which I also am expecting, I don't think the entire banner is going to have 2 killers. I would love for that to happen, but I doubt it. But the year before that was actually the Kenpachi banner, the triple Kenpachi banner with Azushiro, Kuriashiki, and also Zaraki. And of course, that banner itself was super exciting at the time. For me, the highlight of Spirits Are Forever With You. So with that in mind, going into this upcoming end of month banner, the excitement is definitely there. The expectation is also higher, especially given that what 1000 Year Blood banners that we have been getting haven't been the greatest selection of characters, right? There hasn't been like anything too wrong with the banners that we have been getting, but there's just been something wrong with the banner that just stops you from like saying, let's go down to 0. Because I know me personally, right? Whenever a 1000 Year Blood banner came out, I was spending 25 steps, basically. And as of late, that's not been the case. One is because I know better things are coming out, but 2, if you look at this banner, for example, Sangdu, he was great and all, I don't care about Sangdu. Toshiro, I mean, if it was his Hollow Bankai, sure, I'd be down for it. But even then, Toshiro was a net character. It was a 2-character banner for me. That's just not worth spending my orbs on. We, of course, then had last month's 1000 Year Blood banner. In this case, I could care less about Yumachika. Rangiku is cool and all, but, like, she's not a character I'm going to spend 25 steps for. And then Minia, she was the Brave Battle character. Even then, Minia is by far my least favorite Bambi. So these recent 1000 Year Blood banners, while we have gotten back-to-back, had just been filler 1000 Year Blood banners for me. These are not what I'm excited for when it comes to Core 2. And that's fine. The benefit of the 1000 Year Blood anime is that we can get banners like this. Not every banner, especially if we are getting back-to-back 1000 Year Blood War, needs to be must summoned, right? I'm fine with having some cooldown banners, even if they are 1000 Year Blood War. And that's what I see with these banners. And that's why, for the most part, I did actually end up skipping them or really limit how deep I actually went on these particular banners. And with that out of the way, my main prediction for today's video is going to be Giselle, Mayuri, and also Zombie Bambietta. I've seen a lot of people say the same thing, so I feel like this is the popular opinion, but it's also the banner that makes the most sense, mainly given that the last end of month banner briefly teased us, and that's the main reason why I think it's going to be this, because you'll see it with these 3 characters. They were quite random in a way they weren't, because hence the name of the banner, right? It's called Reinforcements. These were all characters that were reinforcements to much bigger fights. Rangiku couldn't get her own story in the point event, given that her fight with Toshiro against Basby, for example, was already covered. Minia doesn't have her own fight of her own, so the only thing they could have done for this point event story to release alongside this banner was, of course, the start of the Giselle fight. And in this case, Yumachika, Ikaku briefly fight against Giselle and Zombie Bambietta, and coincidentally enough, the point event story itself actually cuts off right when Sunflower Mayuri shows up. So they obviously have clear intentions to continue that story, this time with a banner with Giselle and also Mayuri. And Giselle in particular is one of those characters where she could get put into 2 banners, right? One with Mayuri and also Zombie Bambietta, and the second one is with the other Bambis, in this case Minia and also Little Toto, when we eventually get their Volstanic versions. I assume every Bambi first and foremost will be in their base form, as we saw with Minia, and most likely what we are going to see with Giselle. And I'm fine with that. Giselle in particular does demonstrate quite a bit of different abilities. Her Volstanic is a lot different to what we are going to get with her base form, because the base form would more so be about her zombie abilities, and we're most likely going to see Zombie Bambietta included in her gameplay. And that's why I feel like Zombie Bambietta will be this 3rd character character in this banner, because of course having a banner with Giselle and Mayuri makes sense, they fight against each other. But if we are going to be getting a Giselle using her zombie abilities, you have to include Bambietta in her gameplay. And with that, it means you have to make a model for zombie Bambietta. And if you're making a model for zombie Bambietta, you might as well make her own character. And that's exactly what we saw with the Kanfi and World Mayuri, where his gameplay actually used zombie Arankas, and literally 2 weeks prior to him coming out, we had the zombie Arankas in their own banner. So if we are to get a Mayuri and also Giselle banner, and if we are to get Giselle using her zombie abilities, zombie Bambietta being the third character just makes sense. Especially if we are to get it right now, given that, you know, the third character could have been zombie Toshiro, but Toshiro just got a character, so I doubt that to be the case. Now, regardless of the character choice, one of the main reasons why I'm looking forward to this banner is that we are guaranteed to get a, hopefully, powerful power character. Now, for those that don't know why that is the case, well, starting from the 8th anniversary, every end of month banner brings us a Limit Breaker character, a character specifically designed in mind to be used in Limit Breaker, and that mode in of itself promotes the character and gives you a reason why you might want to summon for them, right? Now, them being Limit Breaker characters comes with some great benefits. Usually, they have very powerful skills, and most Limit Breaker characters that we have gotten since the 8th anniversary have been easily some of the best characters in the game. In this case, though, it started off with Yachiru. A month later, we got Kyogre. A month after that, we got Nini. A month after that, we got Power Rukia. And that's why going into November's end of month banner, we were able to predict that we were going to get a powerful Technique character. And that's exactly what we did get with this particular Ichibe. With Ichibe out of the way, at that point, they would have done a Speed, Heart, Mind, Power, and also Technique character. So now a new rotation started. And it started off with Yuhabak. In this case, a Mind character. Then a Heart character with Ruroka. A Speed character with Sangdu, and then a Technique character with Rangiku. So now that the second rotation has started, we are now missing a power character. So we are guaranteed to get a power character designed for Limit Breaker, and hopefully the character itself is more like Yuhabak, like an actual good character, and not so much someone like Rangiku, who would have been like really, really, really good. It's just her strong attacks were kind of holding her back. In the case of power characters, they need that really good character to carry them, because Power's in a very bad position. They have like no one really, really good, right? Their 3 best characters is Yamamoto, who's almost 2 years old, 8th anniversary Ichigo, who's more of an auto character, and then Rukia, who could have been that because she was the Limit Breaker character of the month, at least for September, right? But then she has that massive problem with her SA2, it being a melee attack. It can't inflict any stats on it. It's only a heal attack. It's really only that SA2 that holds her back from being one of the best characters in the top game, like top 5, top 3 even. So Power really does need that perfect Limit Breaker character, and that's what we're expecting for this upcoming end of month. With that in mind though, what killer can we expect, knowing that we're going to get a guaranteed power character? Now, my opinion is that it's going to be a super killer, because what we do see when it comes to these Limit Breaker characters is that they usually give them an attribute and killer combination where there isn't that many good options, so you're more inclined or forced to pull for that new character if you want to do good in Limit Breaker. It's a good and a bad thing, right? I like it because it means we fulfill these niches and attribute affiliation combos that need to be done. Because, you know, prior to Rukia coming out, we needed a good power of Ranky killer, and we finally got that with Rukia, right? Prior to Yuha coming out, we needed a good Mind Hollow killer because we didn't have that, and that's exactly what Yuha was. But obviously with that for Limit Breaker, it means there isn't that many good characters to bring other than Yuha. Rangiku is another example of that. Maybe not the best one because Aizen does exist, the 1000-year Blood War version. But in general, we hadn't received a new ranged Ranky killer in the Technique attribute for a very long time, especially an SP-based character. So if we have a closer look at the power attribute, you look at power super killers. There isn't that many good power super killers. It used to be a very crowded attribute and killer combination, but I mean, our last power super killer was a Naz character over a year ago. Our last playable SP character that was a power super killer was almost 2 years ago with this particular Kenpachi. It's a lot longer if we actually specify more so that we're going to get a ranged power super killer. In that case, your next best option is going to be Kisuke, which might be a good enough option for the upcoming Limit Breaker quest, assuming they do want you to bring a power ranged super killer. But compared to what we're potentially about to get, I mean, Kisuke's going to pale in comparison, right? That's why I'm confident they are going to be a ranged power super killer, because if we have a look at Hollow, well, if there's a Hollow killer, you can just bring Yamamoto or you can bring Ichigo. If they're a Ranka, which I highly doubt, you could just bring Rukia. I guess there could be a human Quincy Stammerton, no affiliation killer, etc. I just don't see that happening. I think the most likely outcome here is a power super killer, especially a range one, because that's something we do lack. In fact, we even got the announcement this morning, as of me recording this video, is that we are going to be getting the Nightmare Guild Quest difficulty once more, this time right when the end of month banner drops too. Or it's going to be active while end of month is out. Usually it doesn't happen, but in this case, it potentially gives a hint at what we are going to receive in this upcoming end of month banner based on the range and also killer combination. So we've already specified that we're most likely going to get a power super killer, especially a ranged one, but this is potentially further proof because starting on the 2nd of May, we are going to get the ranged super guild quests. And because this is coming out while the end of month is out, I mean, they clearly want you to pull for this end of month banner and use them in guild quests, right? And in my opinion too, ranged super killers, we don't have that many good ones. Like right now, your go-to ranged super killers in GQ is 7th anniversary Ichigo, Halloween Noel, and also 6th anniversary Aizen. Not really like the greatest characters for guild quests. 7th and Ichigo gets the pass given that he's a premium character. He's been out for a few years. You might have the character max transcended. Ranged super GQ is not that hard, but it does lack new good characters that carry them at 1 out of 5. And just because a character is designed for Limit Breaker does not mean that they're only good in Limit Breaker. More often than not, if you're a good Limit Breaker character, again like Yachiru, you're good everywhere. Yuha's the same example. Plenty of examples. Kyuuge, Ichibei. Very likely here that the character we are going to get, a power ranged super killer, is going to be really good in Limit Breaker, but likewise also really good for the ranged super guild quest without potentially needing skills designed specifically for guild quests. We also can see here that we're getting the ranged Quincy Stunritter guild quest, so this probably tells me personally that we are going to get a ranged Quincy or Stunritter killer in this upcoming end of month banner. And truth be told, they need it because the ranged Quincy Stunritter GQ is by far one of the worst ones, right? If we actually have a look here, Quincy Stunritter killer, make them ranged. There's not even 2 rows of characters here. And truth be told, there's only one good lead, that of course being this Toshiro, who hasn't even had a rerun yet. The character has not returned. So assuming this upcoming GQ Nightmare difficulty is hinting at upcoming end of month character with Quincy Stunritter killer, both would be cool. Would be nice to receive a character with 2 killers in this end of month banner. What type of character would we like them to see? Personal bias aside, I would rather them be an SP character to be a new lead to replace this Toshiro. And that's mainly because the personal bias in me, I don't have Toshiro. So Toshiro getting replaced would be the best case scenario for me. They could be a ranged Nat character, which I'd be okay with if it's a free character banner. Still wouldn't like it, but to be fair, this guild quest in particular doesn't have that many good Nat characters. In this case, they only have Ruroka. Now, I have a 5/5, so I don't need her getting replaced personally. And if this upcoming end of month banner did replace her in particular, I'd be okay with it because, again, more options is never a bad thing. I can't hate on that. But if they were to be a Nat character, a ranged Nat character with a boost SA2, I'd be a bit more accepting of it because then I could actually use Ruroka. I could use that new Nat character with a boost SA2. They would work well together. And then I could just use someone like, you know, Bargo as my main or just someone else in particular to like have a vortex, because at that point my 2 Nat characters can just do all the work. So yeah, I would say we're likely guaranteed here a new character for this upcoming guild quest. Whether they're going to be an SP character to replace Toshiro, whether they're going to be a Nat character to replace Ruroka, or whether they're going to be a Nat character with a team boost to go alongside Ruroka, we don't know, but we'll find out again in less than 12 hours time. Other than that, if the 3rd character is going to be a Super Linksa farmer, lately our Super Linksa farmers have actually just been mid-month characters, funny enough. Mashira's not showing here, but she is a power character. She was at the end of month of January. Then we had Halibel, a technique farmer, and then of course we had Aaroniero, a speed character. So if we were to get a Super Linksa farmer for this end of month banner, chances are they're going to be a mind character or a heart character, and again, personal preference, I'd rather them be mind because I don't have someone like the Kaku, but maybe the heart attribute is next in line, more needing of a character to farm links or potions. So to wrap up the video, I think it's going to be Giselle, Mayuri, and also Zombie Bambietta, mainly because the point of it itself was potentially hinting at that. It stops right when Mayuri shows up, so that definitely tells me we're going to get a banner with Mayuri, and of course with that, Giselle being there makes sense. And as already stated, Giselle, if they are going to use her zombie powers, you have to include Bambietta in her gameplay, and at that point you might as well make her her own character. Within these 3 characters, I expect a power ranged super killer, and they're going to be the limit breaker character of the month and probably be the most exciting character from this banner. My personal bias wants it to be Giselle. Her having a super killer makes sense, but again, killers don't have to make sense here. It could be Mayuri. He could be the limit breaker character. We're most likely going to get a character for guild quests, the range Quincy Stunritter phase, and it's unknown right now if they're going to be an SP character or if they're going to be an attack character. Again, if we're going with the idea that killers are going to make sense here, it could be very well Mayuri. Their attribute, in my opinion, just doesn't matter, but I guess them being mind or heart would be really good here because then they'll never have attribute disadvantage. And then the 3rd character could be a heart or a mind character if they are going to be a super Linksa farmer. My bias, again, wants Giselle to be the power character, Mayuri to be the Guild Quest character, and then maybe Bambietta could be the farmer. Most likely outcome, I would assume Mayuri would be best in banner here. He's most likely going to be the ranged power sword killer. Maybe Giselle would be the Guild Quest character, and then maybe Zombie Bambietta would be the farmer. As long as Zombie Bambietta isn't the American character, I'm kind of okay with it, because I don't want Zombie Bambietta to be better than Giselle. Especially because Bambietta will get another character in the future with her vote standing, but again, the same thing we said for Giselle. We'll definitely get 2 Giselles in the future. Her vote standing form, and of course her zombie form. Either way, I'm very excited because I'm very confident with this prediction, especially because a lot of other people are saying it too. I'm kind of gaslighting myself into thinking it's the case. But at the same time, if in the same month we get a new Aaroniero and Giselle, that is by far my best month of BBS. Literally, the 2 characters I've been waiting literally like 5 years for are coming out back to back. Are you insane? There's no way Kev didn't do that on purpose. And that's also one of the main reasons why I'm waiting to see what end of month is before deciding to go back in on the Aaroniero banner. Because there is a potential chance we get Giselle, but I want to make sure I have 25 steps for it. Either way, hope to see you guys tomorrow. Let me know your predictions in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.